Domenico, what's the news out of Chicago?
Well, I mean, murders have gotten the headlines that homicides are up over 500 now this year in Chicago, and shootings are on pace. There were almost 3,000 shootings last year in Chicago, 2,988, and as of yesterday, there were 2,949. So, very close. And you've had just a lot of routine violence, as you've seen throughout this past year. It's also become part of the campaign. I mean, Donald Trump has decided to use Chicago as a reason for why Democratic policies don't work, and has tried to use that as a way to reach out to African-American voters. Not clear how successful that is going to be, but it is something that has become part of this political discussion.
The police superintendent, Eddie Johnson, says, I'm quoting him, he says, it's not a police issue, it's a society issue, and he's blaming impoverished neighborhoods where, quote, people without hope do these kinds of things. It sounds like an explanation which is not an explanation, and an explanation which is a total explanation, David Rennie.
Yeah, although the problem is that there are other cities that have worse poverty that don't have the same gun violence. So it's too easy, I think, to just kind of let them off the hook. This is also clearly a city where the superintendent is the new superintendent, because this is one of the cities where they've had very serious tension between African Americans and the police, because they had their own shooting, which was captured on video in Chicago of a young guy who was shot essentially on the ground. Then there was a row about how long it took for the video to be released, but essentially a situation of kind of really painful mistrust. And so you're seeing debate about whether the police may be less willing to get involved, whether they're being less interventionist. Is that why these shootings are out of control? But it's certainly it's playing, as Domenico says, into the election season, because although crime overall is still lower than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago, there are these a number of big cities where it's really, really spiking, and Chicago is definitely one of them.